Welcome to Effective Code, a podcast for developers, exploring the skills and tools needed to make effective code-related decisions and to become more productive by focusing on the essentials. Today we'll be taking a look into the comprehensive subject of code comments, specifically uncovering the characteristics of what is considered good or bad comments. In addition, we'll discuss the two main types and the general rules that applies to each. The overall idea behind comments. Code comments should be considered an important tool that brings clarity to otherwise unclear or abstract information. Comments gives the designer a chance to capture the thoughts and ideas that lead to their decisions. They provide the users of a system with the information they need to make use of a given interface. Comments also gives developers better intuition about certain implementations or an entire system's inner workings. Most importantly, comments makes the unobvious obvious. To take a quote from the great book, A Philosophy of Software Design, the overall idea behind comments is to capture information that was in the mind of the designer but couldn't be represented in code. The two main types of comments. There's different types of comments, but for our purposes we'll just be looking at interface and implementation comments. Each of these requires a slightly altered perspective to write properly. Depending on the type, our intentions need to change as the essence of the information we need to reveal differs. Let's take a look at them in more detail. Interface comments. By interface comments, we are not referring to the same interfaces that are used in the world of object-oriented programming. Instead, function declarations such as the name and parameters is an interface that will be used by some client. The comments associated with these declarations are considered interface comments. These types of comments should provide enough information to the client so they can make use of the interface without needing to explore the encapsulated code. Most languages use these types of comments to generate documentation with tools such as Doxygen, PHP Docs, and JSDoc, just to name a few. Implementation comments. Comments found in the body of a function, class, or script is considered implementation comments. Generally, the goal of these comments is to explain at a higher level what the code is trying to do or what the designer's intentions were. This gives us a nice overview of the inner workings of a code block and allows us to critique its actions. They can help point out bug workarounds, potential issues, or cryptic pieces of code. We usually write implementation comments when dealing with code of greater complexity, as simpler blocks of code rarely need any additional clarification. They do, however, require some common sense to write well. The two main characteristics of bad comments. They repeat the code. Comments that closely represent the related interface or implementation for the most part provide no real value. These types of comments basically just repeats the code itself and does not give any additional information about the related interface or implementation. In the following example, we have a PHP class named currency that contains a list of currency codes. It has an opening comment that basically just repeats the class declaration and gives no further information. The comment reads class currency full stop. A better comment would have been something like holds all official ISO 4217 currency codes as constants. The revised comment provides us with the details we need to actually make use of the class. It reveals the currency code standards and how we might access them. Most importantly, we can use the class without having to look at the encapsulated code. They leave us with questions. Comments can leave us with a lot of questions, forcing us to spend time exploring codebases or online forums looking for examples. The designer of the related code never took the time to clarify things or believed these details to be obvious. As an example, we have a PHP function named fitImage and it takes 4 arguments, none of which has been commented on. The 4 arguments are image, which is an integer, X and Y, which are both doubles, and opt_list, which is a string. The associated interface comment reads as follows. Place an image or template on the page, subject to various options. This comment leaves us with a lot of questions, such as, why is the image argument an integer? Do I need to preload the image? Where is the origin of X and Y, top left, bottom left? If X and Y are doubles, then what unit type should I use to position my image? Pixels? Where can I find the available string options for opt_list? And how would I use multiple options? Do I separate them with a special character? These are just some of the questions that came to mind. Comments should make critical details like these clear by answering the what and why of things. Conclusion. Interface comments provides clients with the information they need to make use of an interface. Implementation comments should try to explain what the code is doing, not how it's doing it. But generally, all comments should attempt to make the things that are not obvious clear. We as developers must recognize and appreciate the power of code comments and should take better care of writing them for the benefits of ourselves and others. If you would like to learn more about writing good comments, you can take a look at the aforementioned book, A Philosophy of Software Design. Thanks for reading, listening or watching, we really do appreciate it. To get notified about future content, please subscribe to our newsletter, YouTube channel or podcast. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.